Good morning, Stampers. It's Fiona Whitehead here again from craftystamping.blogspot.co.uk, and at my last video I said I'd be going back to basics with my next one and just purely doing some stamping. No dies, no framelits, just some stamps and some pens. So I'm using the Christmas Magic stamp set here and this lovely train. Always reminds me of Polar Express. If you've ever popped onto my blog, you'll hear my story when we used to live in Houston, and Christmas Eve the children and my husband and I went to see Polar Express the film, and when we went into the cinema it was typical Houston weather, 70 degrees, and when we came out it was snowing. It was so magical. So this train set just reminds me of that, so lots of happy memories for me. This one I did with slightly different colours. I used some mint macaron, but today I'm using cherry cobbler, a little bit of candy cane lane, and this pattern paper, which I didn't realise till somebody pointed out to me, it's actually little tiny Christmas trees. So that's what we're using. I've just done normal cardstock, folded it in half, and then cut a piece of the designer series paper and cut a piece of the white. All the measurements will be on my blog. So let's get going. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to just cut up a little piece of rough cardstock and just put it over my card at the bottom, and I'm going to just give the snow a sort of a little snowy effect with just a very pale bit of grey, smoky slate grey. So I'm just using my sponge dauber to do this. If you've got a normal sponge you can do that also, and just gently going to just put a little bit of the grey down there. It'll just mask off the white a little bit and just give a little bit of an effect of some slow. That's my hope anyway. There we are, move that out of the way, and then get our train stamp and just some basic black and stamp your ink pad well onto the stamp because it is quite a big stamp. And make sure I'm square and stamp our train. There you go. Now I've also used some of our gorgeous copper embossing powder on this. I've been using it quite a lot lately, and I'm just going to use it at the bottom here with the sentiment. I'm going to use a bit of Versamark in case you haven't used embossing powders before. You never know. I'm just using the sentiment to pop it onto my block, onto a Versamark pad, and then just stamp it there, and then get a scrap piece of paper and just pop your card or whatever it is you're going to emboss. Shake your powder on. You can also use an embossing buddy just to take off any excess in case you think the embossing powder is going to stick somewhere, but that's been fine, so I didn't need to do that this time. Now I'm afraid I've got a little bit of a cheat here, a bit of a Blue Peter moment for those of you who are in the UK, because I don't have access to a plug near my working station, so I can't actually heat that with my heat embossing tool without going off camera, and that would be really boring for you. So here's one I've done already. It's all ready to go, and there you can see that's lovely and embossed. Shows up quite prettily, doesn't it? So the next thing we're going to do is just to colour in our train. And I'm using some of our marker pens that just come in the set. So I haven't had to buy the whole lot, which is great. These two come in a set, and they are Creamy Caramel and Cherry Cobbler. And, you know, you can colour in this train as you wish. You can do the whole lot. I sometimes find that less is more. And in case you haven't used our markers before, they do have a fine tip and a thick tip. So you've got one for detailed inking and not so detailed. I'm going to be doing this a little bit quicker and not quite as attention to detail as I would normally do because we are on the video. And I'm sure it's quite boring just seeing somebody colouring. But doing it yourself can be very relaxing. And of course at the moment it's all about this mindfulness, isn't it? And getting back to colouring and just having a little bit of time. And I think that's what we haven't had with Stampin' Up for a while because it's all been die cut, die cut, die cut. And I can still remember when we just used to sit and colour. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm just doing all the little bits in red first, so I'm just doing the bows because I'm a bit of a traditionalist at heart. Some bows on the presents there. We've got a couple of little presents in the back of the train, and there's a teddy bear, so he's going to have a red scarf. So I think that will do for our red. And then a touch of the green for the rest of the holly wreath at the front of the tree. You can obviously do as many colours as you like, or any colours, or you don't have to follow the colours I'm using. This green is garden green because it is going to match the papers. And yeah, it's quite a Christmassy green, isn't it? I also like Old Olive. That's another one of my favourite greens. But the Old Olive marker pen I have got is actually 15 years old. And like I've said, our pens and inks do last a long time. My poor Old Olive, I must admit, is actually on its way out. The tip is just getting a little bit worn. So I think I'm going to have to invest in a new one because it's obviously well used. There we go. We'll quickly do that. And then this cream caramel, so that's going to be the teddy bear. And I'm just going to do a few little bits of the train. Oops, sorry. Do those windows. There we go, just a little bit on the top. You could also colour in the train, the rest of the train, grey or black or whatever you want. I'm going to leave this little bit here because I'm going to stick a little pearl on that when we get to the end of there. What else should we do? I think let's just do this. And there we go. I think that'll do for now for our train. Now I'm going to mask it off, and what I do when I get my set is this is the Christmas Magic set, in case I forgot to tell you. I always keep these little bits that you get, that you take off your stamps, because they'll act as a marker. So I never throw anything away. So that's what we're going to use, and I'm going to use the trees here. And I'm going to use the grey again so that they don't look too dark. I think the black would be a little bit too stark. So I'm just going to pop those, mask off my train, and stamp some of the trees just in the background. So it makes us look as though our train is coming out of the woods. And he's just been to the North Pole. And this set does have that North Pole sign as well, if you wanted to use that. There, quite simple. You could increase your grey area as well if you wish, if you want to balance it up a little bit. And there we are, that's quite simple, isn't it? A little bit of grey I'm going to do as well, just on the smoke. I'm not going to use that, I'm going to use a blender pen. So let's just clean off my blender pen, make sure it hasn't had any other colour on there that I don't want. Looks like it's had a bit of yellow. So I'll just do just a little bit of the grey for the smoke, or the steam I should say, because it is a steam train. There we are. I can just finish that off. And the last thing I'm going to do, that's not the last thing I'm going to do, but I'm also going to just do a little bit of Wink of Stella just on my steam. I know this doesn't quite show up really on the video, does it? And on my trees, and it'll just give them that sparkle. You can also put dazzling diamonds on here if you want it really, really sparkly. I'm just going to just give it a little touch for now. There. You can also rough up your edges. I put a little bit of washi tape on the back of my card just to make it keep it there when I was doing my grey, so it didn't slide all over the place. You can rough up your edges and blacken your edges if you like, but I'm going to just keep mine as clear for now. A bit of snail on the back, and fix our card to our pretty little trees, and then just fix that onto Look at the lovely other side of this paper. It's such a shame to be putting it face down, isn't it? There we go. Let's pop that onto there. And then the last thing is grab our pokey tool, and these are our pearl embellishments that have got the little metal rimmed pearls, and they've got their stickies all on their backs. I'm going to try and pick up that small one again. It's just run away from me. There we go. Take the back off. And just pop that onto our train like so. And there we have it. That's a little Christmas card made with the lovely Polar Express train, as I call him. And that was the one we did earlier. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.